guys, what's up? We're back. Clearly, there's only two of us, but as you can imagine, getting 4 people to meet up certain times every month, not always easy. So we gotta do what we can deal with, and you're not gonna see everybody in every video, just know. But today, me, joined by Abryanna, here, we're gonna talk about a certain topic, and that topic specifically is the idea of religion versus relationship. Because for me at least, I believe that religion is more of a man-made thing, and the relationship is something God created for him, his people to connect. And as it may seem like a confusing ideal, especially coming from a Christian who's very religious, according to everybody else in this world, but at the same time, you know what this channel is for. It's to break those perspectives and think of something new. I at least see that Christianity, the main focus of Christianity is relationship, not religion. But a lot of people twist that, and they have the wrong idea about what it truly is, and they just think, you know, it's a bunch of rules, regulations, traditions. That's the problem with religion, in my eyes. We're both going to talk about certain points to hopefully open up your eyes to see what we mean. So I'm going to start off, the first point that I have, and just as it is, relationship. In John 14:23, it says, "If anyone loves me, he will keep my word, and my Father will love him." It's simple as that. In the Old Testament, if you know anything about the Bible, God gave Moses the 10 Commandments, and that was a humongous guideline for the Israelites and anyone who believed in God at that time. When Jesus came, it all changed. Not the fact that we don't obey these rules, but we twist it to something new. In John 13:34, he says, "A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you." And that overrides all of it, if you think about it. Because simply, if you love someone, you won't kill, you won't steal, you won't lie, you won't blaspheme. That's basically why that's the new commandment. So loving one another is a new commandment that just shapes what Christianity is about. So about the verse I said earlier that says, "If anyone loves me, he will keep my word." That's basically that. It's about a relationship with mutual love and obedience. Like, say in a normal relationship, you're dating someone, you're committed, you're loyal, you love one another, you respect one another, and you value one another, and you are obedient to one another. It's the exact same case with God. A lot of people think it's a specific process where you have to go through all these things, go to church for a certain amount of time, and then that's when you can connect with God. But that's absolutely false. It's at any time, at any point of your life, that you can just speak to Him. And that's the same case with God. You just connect with it. Religion has set certain rules that you have to go to church for a certain number of times a week, or you have to been going to church for a certain period of time in your life. You have to pray a specific way. You have to do these things. You have to sing these songs. But that's all by man. God never said you have to pray this way. You have to sing these things. You have to come to church every single Sunday, No. Of course, it's good to pray, to read your Bible, to go to church. It's fantastic, but that's not what it's about. Because you could go to church all your life, you know everything there is about the Bible, but have no connection with God. So that's one point that I had. Religion is rules. Relationship is love.
For religion, it's just like, it's like comparison. Well, it's like kind of a comparison because it's like making you do stuff and like telling you to do stuff. Just like parents, it's just like, it's aggravating.
Right.
Like not like that. Well, no
Yeah,
offense to parents or anything. But like, you just like, you kind of want to find out like by yourself. It's just like, basically like living your own life. Like you want to find out by yourself, and like instead of like going to church and then like they tell you like to pray and then they tell you to do this, like it's just at the same time it's okay if you do it, but eventually it will get like weak and like you don't want to go to church. That's what happened like with me when I was young. I would like always go, and I would just sit down. I would just ignore like, because like it was so tiring. And then like once like I had that chance like by myself in Arizona, like it was like it like came towards like I had a decision like to go to church. It's basically like finding out for yourself.
So basically, what you're trying to say is like religion is telling you how to find God, but basically your point is you could find God like do your own timing, your own way. So another point that I had related to religion versus relationship is that there's a clear distinction between it, and not just through the stuff I say, but through the stuff Jesus says. Like in the book of Luke, if you don't know the Bible too well, the religious of the time were called the Pharisees. And Jesus did not like the Pharisees. And it's interesting because the Pharisees were considered the religious ones, the ones that loved God and went to church all the time and tithed every day. But Jesus was always very mindful of them. He did not like them. So here, like Luke chapter 11, it says, "I've had it with you, you hopeless Pharisees, frauds. You keep meticulous account books, tithing on every nickel and dime you get, but manage to find loopholes for getting around basic matters of justice and God's love. Careful bookkeeping is commendable, but the basics are required. You're hopeless, you Pharisees, you frauds. You love sitting at the head of the table at church dinners, love preening yourselves in the radiance of public flattery. Frauds. You're like unmarked graves. People walk over that nice grassy surface, never suspecting the rot and corruption that is 6 feet under." One of the religion scholars spoke up, saying, "Teacher, do you realize that in saying these things you're insulting us?" He said, "Yes, and I could be even more explicit. You're hopeless, you religion scholars. You load people down with rules and regulations, nearly breaking their backs, but never even lift a finger to help out." So basically what Jesus is saying is the religious, the Pharisees, they're based off rules and regulations, as it says here in verse 46. So basically in the passage I just read, it's simply Jesus explaining as it is that being religious doesn't get you very far. I mean, you could follow certain rules, you could follow certain regulations, but if what you say doesn't line up with what you do, it means absolutely nothing. And that your relationship with God is pointless. Because if you go around saying, "I love God, God bless me, I pray all the time," but then you see your friend who's struggling with something, and then you just say, "Oh, I hope it gets better," but you put no impact into his or her life to make a difference, to try to help them out when they need it, then clearly what you believe in is pointless.
Because like you're like scared of like the opinions, and like they'll like sometimes like be like, "Oh, you're wrong on this," and you just want to like talk it out, and you never get to talk it out because like they always interrupt you, and then you just like want to stop and like not like talk about it anymore. But like when Jesus is there, he can talk to, like, I know he's like not in front of you, but it's just good to get it all out instead of reacting bad on it.
Right.
So like you can just like talk it out, and then like you'll feel so much better.
Because like what we were saying earlier, like how religion makes God more like a top dog boss kind of thing. Like you feel like you have to have certain permissions, or you can only talk to him for a certain time, and that's what a lot of like religious people out there try to like portray onto others, that God is so holy and sacred that you can never come up to him, only in certain times, only if you're perfect and clear of your sin. But reality is
he's like actually right there like waiting for you, instead of like doing all this stuff when like you can actually talk to him, like he's actually there waiting, and then like just waiting for your permission to like just flow with him.
And then when you're broken, that's the point that he wants to reach to you the most. Another thing that I had in mind personally, that, and I'm really passionate about this one too, like a lot of religious people out there try to put the blame on the person rather than the sin itself. So, but with Jesus, and he focuses on the sin. So like, I don't know, say hypothetically, I steal from a store, right? I'm stealing. Oh, what can I finesse? Let's say I take a whole shoebox from Foot Locker, and clearly stealing is not good. So with God, of course he would be disappointed in my actions, but he would still love me. And as long as I go to him, like I like freely speak to him, like, "God, I'm sorry for what I did, please forgive me," he'll forget the sin. He'll forgive you and then forget the sin. But when it comes to religious people, they try to condemn you really with what you did. So it's great to pray for other people, but if you focus more on the person than the sin itself, then that's the religious side. And a lot of people, they get that, but they decide to add their own message and decide that the person is completely evil. Well, no, it's just the sin is evil, not the person. They made a mistake, they made a choice that wasn't right. doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means they made a bad decision. And that's what a lot of Christians don't understand, and that's why a lot of people consider Christians judgmental, and I agree. It's a sad truth, but I agree with it, that there are a lot of Christians out there that are extremely judgmental and critical, and that's the religious side of it, because they're not seeing people through Jesus' eyes, not the Jesus way of show them love. If they're broken, let me be there to help them. If they need help, let me be there. If they're falling, let me pick them up. You know, that's Jesus. Religion, on the other hand, is you see them struggling and you're like, and you look down on them. You see that they need help and you just say, oh, I hope it gets better, and walk away. You see that they've fallen, but you don't pick them up. So what I was trying to say is, like, let's go back to my hypothetical situation on Stevie, right? So he still loves me, still like acknowledges me as his son, but he's disappointed in my actions. And of course, he'll forgive me. He still loves me. He wants to know, like, hey, I know you messed up, but it's okay, I'm still here, and I still love you. But other people will try to say, oh, Jack, you know what you did, you know, you're gonna go to hell now, right? Like, that's the fear that other people put. For God, like, he wants you to know what's good and what's wrong.
Because he wants you to fix it and do the good thing, instead
Exactly.
of religion making you do the bad, like telling you the worst, and then you fear even more, but then you probably mess
Right.
up, and then when you're in that fear.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. That some people, God will never do this, but people, like, in general, will try to, like, scare you away when God is trying to just say, it's okay if you make mistakes, just know I'm here.
Like with religion, like when they scare you, that sometimes makes you not want to go back to church, and like
Exactly.
you're scared.
By the way, so, hope you enjoyed. Hope you got something out of it. Hope it changed your perspective, gave you something new, gave you something fresh. You know what we're about. Anything else to add, Abryanna?
I don't know.
Alright, in that case, goodbye.